You've said that the ultimate goal is total population control. In a democracy, that is really scary business.
It's actually a totalitarian process that's been used down through history. I mean, that's what totalitarian dictators, states, that's what they want to do. They want to know everything about the population so they can control it. That was the idea behind the Soviet Union, the East German Stasi. That was their idea, and the Gestapo and the SS, and down through history, many others.
It is the 19th of August, 2020. I wanted to focus your attention on the Georgia Guidestones and your belief on what will have to happen to reach the 500 million number, the perpetual balance with nature, so on and so forth. The Georgia Guidestones is, I believe it's a little more than just a conspiracy theory, because this thing exists. It's real. It's tangible. You can walk up to it and touch it. I don't think reaching 500 million people is a joke. So what is the point to this thing? I will show you the basics. As I'm talking, you can pause and read. I'll even put a link to the Wikipedia page. Not that Wikipedia is, the most reputable source online, but it's a good place to start your research. The reason I wanted to bring your attention to the Georgia Guidestones is this is another thing that I believe could just make the average person who isn't even into conspiracy theories. You'd be surprised the people that don't know about this. I mean, at one point in time, none of us knew about it until we were told, right? Like pretty much everything else. This was one of the things that I found interesting when I started to venture into the rabbit hole. It is something that I heard of before but blew it off, didn't pay much mind to it. But when I started to research it a few years back, I said, wow, that's pretty scary. I mean, you're talking 10 commandments for a new world. And I find it disturbing and, in my opinion, very satanic. Because we already have 10 commandments from our Heavenly Father, the one true living God, the creator of heaven and earth. I believe that these 10 commandments on the Georgia Guidestones is nothing more than absolute blasphemy. As above, so below. But that's just my opinion. But furthermore, I'm interested in what you think is going to achieve the goal of 500 million people. As of August 2020, all right, you can assume the number that they give us. 7.8 billion people are on this planet. If you do the math, a staggering amount of people have to be eliminated from the equation to reach 500 million. So ridiculous to the point where you can't do that all at once. How do you, if indeed that is what the purpose of the Georgia Guidestones is? Letting you know someday this will happen. Is it happening now? I personally don't believe it's the current virus. I think something a little more dramatic has to happen than, the lies that we're being fed right now. So I decided to come up with my own personal top 5. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. This is just an opinion video. All right. For instance, let's start out with the fake alien invasion. Now, the fake alien invasion is something that could make society as a whole, all over the world, come unhinged. If you take the idea of science versus God, God versus science, if you show the world somehow that aliens exist, everybody's foundation of what they believed in as far as God goes shatters. Unfortunately, some people will be deceived, but will enough people be deceived? Now, I believe personally that the fake alien invasion will be the last card played, meaning once a set agenda is complete, boom, throw in your alien invasion, unify the world, and then you finally have the one world government, which also could take place with a cashless society because somebody has to run that thing. But we'll see. The cashless society isn't going to bring us to the number of 500 million. Now, throw in directed energy weapons with this fake alien invasion. Then you could be talking big numbers. That's possible. I don't know. What do you think? Getting to number 4, vaccinations. Will enough people be awake by the time this COVID vaccination comes into play? Will enough people be willing to take it? Will you have some kind of an uprising at that point? The vaccination is a very real thing. It's coming. If you don't believe in conspiracy theories, if you think all of this is absolute nonsense, and you think that conspiracy theorists are crazy, you must have heard of the vaccination. I will actually use a little gematria here just to remind people that the vaccination is 666 in the English Sumerian cipher, and 666 is the number of the beast. Do you think that billions of people will fall to the vaccination? That's a lot of people when you really stop to think about it. Is the vaccination enough? But if maybe you mix the vaccination with number 3, 5G technology, well, now you're putting a little more, chutzpah, oomph. You're getting a little more serious. If enough people fight back against the vaccination, maybe they flip that switch and the vaccination has absolutely nothing to do with it. Maybe just flipping the switch, because we don't know exactly what 5G has to offer. The technology that the fallen angels have introduced to man could be a little more detrimental to our health than we might think. Now, I'm going to put something at number 2 that, when you stop to think about it, could do a lot of damage. We're talking about weather control. And people who laugh and think that weather control is a joke, well,
we shall propose further cooperative efforts between all the nations in weather prediction and eventually in weather control.
It has been talked about before, and I suggest you do some research on it, on how weather can definitely be used as a weapon. And now, with the possibility of weather control doing a lot of damage to reach 500 million, you can throw some directed energy weapons in there. I believe technology is going to play a big part in reaching that number. In layman's terms, just stop blowing some crap up and blame it on the weather. Right along the lines is the fake alien invasion. What if you mixed the two? What if you mixed that fake alien invasion with some weather control and directed energy weapons to achieve your goal of 500 million? And I'm just going to throw in at number 1, a third world war. If you're going to do the most damage possible with a third world war, boy oh boy, you could mix that fake alien invasion in with some weather control, in with 5G technology, and just start dropping some bombs. How much damage do you want to do all at once? How much do you want to rebuild? I don't know. But at the end of the day, those Georgia Guidestones, they're still standing. And it's not just a blueprint for America, it's a blueprint for the world. What do you think could be the reason that we end up reaching 500 million people on this planet? That's a lot of people. Billions have to perish. Could it be CERN? Could it be something I haven't mentioned? Do we really want to find out? I'm just giving you a scenario and something real that can turn conspiratorial for any of us. And it's something to think about. All of this is something to think about. You take care out there, everybody. Keep researching, stay awake, and may God bless you all.